Welcome, 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 welcome,
Welcome, welcome, welcome, welcome,
welcome, welcome to the Hey there, Constantine.
Hello,
Welcome
Brian,
to the
to the
rum.
rum. And
I'm
we
Brian,
are.
the rum. We butcher it every time without being able to do the sing-songiness to it, but
Can we just, if you would show up to rehearsal, man, like,
I'm
you know,
if I show up to rehearsal, I'm not the one missing my marks.
he's Brian, he's the rum champion. I'm Constantine, I'm the rum
The runner
runner-up.
up, which again, I
And this is To the
to
Rum.
the rum. Thank you, everybody who has listened to all of our podcasts. Constantine, I did not have time to get all of our numbies on
Yep.
what's what because, in long story short, I had to get a new laptop, and for
Oy.
whatever reason, Google Chrome that I use to kind of save all my passwords hasn't translated, so I've had to go through and reset every single
Oh
password that I've had. So, anyways, it's
no.
fine because then I
The
got a password
worst.
protector, which I probably should have had in the first place. But, anyways,
Yeah.
we'll leave that there. But thank you, Constantine. People can listen to us where? Audio
On
only.
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Amazon Music. I think that's all. Is there any other? I mean, there's got to be some we're missing, but that's all I've got.
No, we're on YouTube as well.
I'm on
So we have
YouTube as
a
well.
yeah,
Audio only on YouTube.
we have a YouTube channel. Shows you how much you pay
Yes.
attention, and then it also funnels through to the Rum Champion channel on YouTube too. Um, so yeah, with outside of that,
Yep.
Constantine, I guess we'll just do one, maybe two update per, and then we will
Just a quick one,
introduce
yeah.
rum royalty. You can only say that if you roll your R's. If you can't, then you just can't say it.
That's right. Rum
Royalty.
royalty.
Round tones. I can't stand it. Okay, I'll go first. So, in the world of California and whatnot, I've just been traveling like a maniac for Bourbon Court. Next week, I have to go to Tiki Oasis. I have to go. Notice the distinction there. And then I'm
Oh,
in Brooklyn for the Brooklyn Rum Fest. I just did Tales of the Cocktail. Before that, I was in Orlando. And just more travel, 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 travel. And it makes me really, really have infinite more respect for our guest who has traveled more and always just shows up and shows out with exceptional events. So that's what's going on in my world. Nothing too fun, fancy, or exciting. What about
it
you?
is all fun, fancy, and exciting. All of it.
Well, well, then what's
Every
your
bit of
fun,
it.
fancy, exciting, Constantine?
My fun fancy. I got a dog, which we talked about.
Yes.
Maybe I'll do a little post about the dog online. And we have the Fiji Rum and Tiki Festival coming up, 2025, on the 20th of September. Another, not really an addition, but something we're really just putting out there now is we got Daniele Dalla Poya coming in from, oh, he's from Italy. I think he's in Mexico now
He lives in
to
Tulum. Yeah.
do. Yeah, man, I've seen pictures of it, and he's sending me every day. Amazing. But he's coming out here to do the Tiki Master cocktail competition on the 21st of September. So if you're a
Mm.
bartender or you're not and you're just keen to get in a competition, come out here 21 September, Tiki Master cocktail. I also have tickets to Vanuatu, Brian. I think I may have mentioned this to
You
you.
did. You did.
Tickets to Vanuatu to go see our friends at 83 Islands, but I can't go because I'm a dummy. And Fiji Airways introduced three-tier ticket system, light, value, and whatever, extra. I don't know what it's called. I was going to go to Vanuatu, and I thought I would save a few bucks and get the value fare, but I didn't look at my calendar, and my kids' school has their fundraising ball that night, and I can't go to Vanuatu, and I've
Oh
given a big
no.
fat donation to Fiji Airways. So you're welcome, Fiji Airways, for the donation. So anyway,
Man.
that's what's going on in our world. Who do we have
Just
today? You
just
mentioned
the
rum
the oh
royalty.
yeah, the one thing I just want to say on Daniele
Yeah.
because I'm gonna
Oh,
do
yes.
something fun with him in Miami in November. But he's just such a character and he's like, Brian, have you ever
Absolutely.
been to a lagoon in Tulum? And I'm like, no, Danielle, I can't say I have. He's like, I will send you pictures. And he sent me at least like 30 of this lagoon. Anyways, he's a character. We're going to do some fun stuff. Stay tuned for that. But
Yeah.
in the
Oh, real
meantime,
quick, real quick, real quick. You just posted something I just saw online. I wanted to shout out here. Ari Ralston,
oh, yeah.
you've made the hand of the champion. I don't think I have
No,
the
no,
title
no, no. The
right.
right hand of the rum curious.
There he is.
I mean, Ari's just a quick shout out to Ari. Oddly enough, he
Yeah.
only sporadically
Such a
listens to our
badass.
show, so how dare he?
What the hell?
But no, yeah, I mean, Ari's been with me since the very first Rum Curious Club event that started with 12 people in my apartment, and now we're at 2,200 members on Facebook. We've done hundreds of
Amazing.
events and all the things. He also is the co-creator of the Rum Curious Summit, which nearly killed both of us. So enough about all of that. We have kept our guest
Mm.
waiting long enough. So today, our guest is a very passionate rum educator, a tireless advocate for authenticity, and a leading voice for rum. And I would argue has helped single-handedly elevate the rum category in the United States. So today, we have the one, the only, Kate
Kate
Perry. Pew, 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 pew,
Perry.
pew. And the crowd goes wild.
Woo!
Ha, ha. Kate. Okay, we're done. Kate.
Wow, guys.
Yeah, we warned you it was going to be extra today.
I was warned. You're correct. Amply warned.
No, but Kate, I mean, really, like, first and foremost, thank you so much for just joining us and talking all things rum today. It's a privilege to have you.
That's
Absolutely.
very kind. Thank you.
Well, I mean, Kate, the likelihood of people listening to this that don't know who you are is probably pretty low. But let's just pretend, though. It would be great to just learn more about you, your origin story, and all of the millions of fun facts. Like, I love the fact that you live quite literally on an island, for example. So, like, I want to
Island girl,
know.
man.
Well,
Through and
want to know.
through.
We want to know all the things. So, take us from the top. On an autumn day, your parents met. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
From the top, where should we begin?
Well, how about wherever you feel comfortable? But if we're going to look at it from the lens of just industry specific, and then if you want to pepper it, oh, and a challenge. So we'll start kind of maybe in your industry slash bar days, and then your challenge is to weave in 2 to 3 fun facts that people might not know about you before the end of the episode.
Okay. Oh, I have the whole episode to weave in. Fun
Yes.
fact?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Heard. I guess, where does a rum journey start, you know? I think that
Well, I mean,
these things like really
yeah. Did you
layer in.
jump right into rum, or did you were in the industry and sort of found it, or how did you? I mean, you obviously took a hard turn at some point right into rum. Um,
Yeah.
what
It
led
was
to
hard and
that?
fast. And multifaceted, I guess. I am an island girl through and through. Fun fact number one, I'm from an island off the coast of Maine, and I live on
Oh,
an
cool.
island in the Puget Sound, so in an inland sea in Washington State. And I get to work with all of these beautiful tropical islands all over the world. So love islands. I would almost say that my rum journey started in college, but I didn't know it. I wanted to be Indiana Jones, and I like to joke that now I just work for him. Um, because I got a degree in anthropology and geography, people and places. And when I found rum, I felt like my degree was just like neatly wrapped with a red bow and delicious things in my class. Because rum, I think, is really the history of humanity for
Hmm.
all of its brutality and a lot of its beauty as well. But it's the story of culture and community and people and land and sea and soil and air and all of the things that I studied in university, but didn't know that I would then apply to rum. Um, I I grew up in Maine, as I said. There's not much to do in Maine when you're a kid. So I got a job as soon as I could, started working in a restaurant, and I just really liked the scene. I was super, super shy. Um, didn't just really had trouble like talking to people. Was afraid of the world a bit, and I
Hmm.
liked that the restaurant industry kind of challenged me in that way. Like the idea of walking up to a table and asking their order was terrifying. And if you told like that little girl that someday she'd be like standing in front of crowds of hundreds of people giving seminars on rum, I never would have believed you. But through college, I worked at not a rum bar, but a pisco bar, just because
Hmm.
I liked the scene. I liked the kind of social camaraderie of the bar industry. I liked that it was a different social scene than my university social scene. It kind of was a soft break away from my academic world. Um, and then when I moved to Washington State after college, I went to college in Colorado, loved the mountains, missed the ocean,
It's
figured
my home
Seattle
state.
had both. And I ended up in Seattle. And I started working at this little wine bar called Tango, Tango and Rumba, get it? And the owner wanted to open a new place. I'd started there as a server and worked my way up to general manager, bar manager, wine manager. I was just his kind of right hand. And he knew that he wanted to open a new place. And we went through, I don't know, 6 or 7 different concepts from like seafood places to little like coffee shop slash Amaro bars to just the wide gamut of dreaming, really. And next door to Tango was this little like streetwear store called Goods. And Goods was owned by these 4 partners, and something happened overnight, and they like cleared out after a weekend. And kind of
Shady.
through this process of like going through all these different ideas, my boss at the time, Travis, walked in and said, "Hey, I just uh, I just put down a deposit on the goods space. What do you think about opening a rum bar?" And I was like, "Shit, boss. Can I swear?"
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Okay, great.
how
Yes.
fucking dare you ask if
Shit,
you can
yeah.
fucking swear?
I was like, "Shit, boss. I don't know jack shit about rum." Um, And I remember I was like sitting up in the office and I was like, a rum bar. Okay. Tropical islands, all of the things that rum started evoking in my mind. And I think that like for me, like a lot of people, rum was just sort of this like unknown quantity because the rums that were available, this was in 2011, is just such a far cry from what's on the market today. It's really just been like a night and day difference in the last 15 years, 10 years, 5 years, geez. Um, and so I was like, okay, boss, sounds great. And booked myself a 2 week trip to the Caribbean. And he was like, what are you doing? And I was like, well, if we're going to open a rum bar, we're going to do it right, like with respect to the Caribbean. I don't know anything about rum, so I'm going to go give myself a crash course and then I'll be back. And he was like, you're being very silly. Like, sales reps will bring you rum to try. You don't need to go to the Caribbean. I was just like, okay, whatever. And like 30 minutes later, he came upstairs and he was like, I'm really sorry. I have a wife, a child, and another one on the way. I can't go to the Caribbean, but you should absolutely go and like I'll help you with it. And I was like, great. Good job, boss. And so I went to 5 islands and I rented a car and I drove around each one. I stopped at every rum distillery on the way. And I just like, again, like shy girl, couldn't imagine that I'd be like in the Caribbean just talking to people and like, how do you drink this? What does this mean to you? Like, where do
Yeah.
you drink it? How old were you when you started drinking it? And I just started talking to Caribbean people and figuring out like what these spirits meant to them. Again, anthropologist and going to the islands and looking at the landscapes and trying to understand like how sugarcane grows. Again, geography, geologist. Um, and it really like changed my world. And so I came back and we opened Rumba. I don't know, 6, 8 months later, built it out from scratch. And it was just super fun to really like create a program and a space that was so far from the Caribbean, but was really built in tribute to the spirit of rum. Um, there's really few like rum bars in the world. There's a lot of like tiki bars with rum
Yeah.
selections, but they're
Hmm.
like kind of few and far between, like just rum, classic rum bars. There's Cane and Table in New Orleans that I love, Rumba in Seattle, Sparrow in Chicago.
Sparrow's
Um,
fantastic. I love
and
Sparrow.
yeah, these like little rum bars that are uniquely rum bars just like hold such a special little place because they just have a different vibe. And honestly, like when um when Rumba opened, I remember like the first few days and it almost felt like really cheesy. Like it felt like it was like in like a I don't know, like a Tommy Bahama catalog or something. Like it was too new. Everything
Too
was bright
clean.
and shiny. And it was really fun to like watch the space become itself. I'm such a firm believer that you can like build a bar, build a home, build a community, build whatever you want 80%, and then life is gonna build it the other 20. You know, you can't build something 100%. It has to be lived in. It has to be the result of shared experience. So I managed that for 6 years. It was really fun. Um, and then I think like a lot of rum geeks, kind of the deeper you get into the spirit, you kind of just always end up at this company called Velier. And
Hmm.
Velier is a really special company because any sort of rabbit hole that you jump down, like you just find this little gem at the bottom of the rabbit hole that is Velier. And like a lot of rum geeks, I got obsessed with them because the coolest stuff I tasted came from them and it wasn't available in the US market. And as a rum geek, there's this benefit that you get to travel a lot for rum if you want to, going to the Caribbean, going to rum festivals in Europe. There's always an excuse to jump on a plane and go taste rum somewhere. Um, and so I would smuggle these bottles back and, not put them on the back bar because that would be illegal. But, get to share them with people. And Velier just became like, for me, just the epitome of the coolest of the cool. And um, one day I got this phone call from this guy named Daniele Biondi. He said, "Ciao, Kate. We got your name because you run this rum bar, and we'd like to invite you to come to Haiti to taste the Bon Claren. Do you know Claren?" I said, "Yes, Daniele from Velier. I know Claren. I'd love to tell me where to go." Typical Velier style, I heard like nothing for several months, and then plane tickets arrived, and I was like, "Okay,
Wow.
guess I'm going to Haiti to go taste Claren." And I spent a week with them, jeeping around the country, and really came to understand that Velier was the first company that understood rum in the framework that I understood rum, which was from my background of people, places, geography, culture, humanity. And so when I got back, I wrote a very nice letter to my now boss, Luca Gargano, and I explained this to him that I'd never really met anyone who really like was fine-tuned into the framework that I approach this spirit, and it was like a revelation for me, especially in a place like Haiti where it's just so connected and so at the surface. Um, and so I said, I'd really like to have these bottles available in the US. I'd love to pour them at my bar. And even more, I'd love to be a part of that. And he wrote back, like, yeah, we're thinking about the US market. We have some thoughts. Ciao, ciao. Thank you so much. Good to see you. See you again someday. Okay. And I was like, okay, how do I make this happen? Like, I was pretty adamant on it. And um, I decided there was this Spirit Bomb tea punch competition, Clement tea punch,
Mhm.
and there was like a regional winner, and then the national winners of all the regions got to go to Till's the Cocktail to compete. And I knew that that year, this was 2011, no, 2007, 16. So, yep, it's 2016. I knew that Luca was going to be there giving a seminar. And I was like, okay, I have to go talk to Luca and tell him to give me a job. How do I do this? Like, I can't just leave again. I just got back from Haiti. I'm going to enter this tea punch competition and I'm going to win the West Coast. And then I'll have this excuse that, oh, I have to go to New Orleans. And so I did that. And lucky for me, was friends with the judges. Not that that helped, but I knew their taste, and I knew if I like tossed some Fino sherry and some sparkling rosé in there, I'd probably have a pretty good shot. And it was blind, of course, but I ended up winning that. And I went to New Orleans, and somebody had told me, and I wish I knew who, because I'd like to thank them, that if you want to run into someone at Tales of the Cocktail, you should go to the Hotel Monteleone at 1 o'clock in the morning, and they'll magically appear. And I had no better plan, so I tested this theory, and I went to the Monteleone at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I sat on the couch, and I just waited. And I kid you not, like 3, 4 minutes later, Luca walked in by himself. And he was like,
Wow.
Keita, what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm actually waiting for you. And he said, did we have plans? And I said, no. And he said, well, okay, let's go to the Carousel Bar and have a gin and tonic. And I said, okay. And so we sat down at the bar and we had a gin tonic. And he said, so what are you doing? And I said, Luca, I can't stop thinking about Haiti, and I want to work for you, and I want to manage the US market. And he said, okay. And that was pretty much it.
Wow.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. It turns out sometimes that when you ask for things you're passionate about, the universe says yes. So, a couple months later, I moved to New York, and I started walking around the streets of New York with bottles of Kickin and bottles of Caroni. And now it's been almost 8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And first of all, wow, just
Yeah.
wow. Um, Secondly, just, I mean, I have so many questions, but I have an affinity for Haiti, obviously, because of Barber and Court. I'd love to go. You've been, Kate, and, listening to everybody that has talked about, visiting, it's a life-changing experience. And quite literally, you are the perfect embodiment of that. And so just would love to know, like, any tidbits and facts or things just about Haiti. I know you and I have messaged about Saint-Domingue and the largely unknown history there and the impact all way back in the day. But even now, like, just how was it?
Yeah, on this original call that I had with Danny, he told me, he said, Kate, a trip to Haiti will change your life. And I joke about that with him now because like my life is very different because I started working with Velier after this trip, and it changed my life in a lot of different ways, personally and professionally. So yeah, you never know what's gonna happen.
For sure.
But I just found Haiti just feels so uniquely I don't know, just itself. Like the the people, the communities, it has the best food in the Caribbean. It has the best music. It has the best dance. The people smiles. Like I think that it's had a lot of devastation in its history,
Mm,
natural, economically, sociopolitically, but I don't know. There's something that's just like really unique and special and kind of people will tell you that Haiti is like poor and don't go there and dangerous. And to me, I felt so safe and so cared for and so welcome, that I felt that, in a lot of ways, my life in America is poor and unsafe and don't
mm,
go there. Because maybe the people don't have, all of this technology and all of this stuff, but their lives are so rich. They have such tight community. People look after each other. They have, the best food, because our food is filled with chemicals and fertilizers and making us sick, and they don't have those things. So they still have, natural, good organic things, not to be like organic with a plastic sticker on it, but because they don't have fertilizers or pesticides. And the rum is the same. I mean, Clarin is this beautiful thing that is so tied to their culture and their community. So I think that like a lot of people, and if you watch the news, you hear all of these, really shocking horror stories about Haiti. And not that they're not true, but Haiti is also just the most beautiful place I've ever been. It is stunning. I mean, to be on a boat for 3 hours with a undeveloped coastline in the Caribbean, like incredible. Um, I don't know. I think it's really, really special. And I have a lot of love for that country and the people. And it it really still feels like an honor to, you know, work with these producers and get to pour their liquid. Um, it's pretty cool. And we have more coming to
It's
market finally. Gosh, we've been
oh
out
good.
so long. We just got
Yeah,
some more coming all in, and I'll have some more single producers coming this year. So I'm excited to like engage with that story. It's been a hard few years everywhere, but it's been a really, really hard few years there.
yeah,
So I'm really
definitely.
excited to kind of get to uh, re-engage with those spirits.
And it's
Definitely.
been written
And
off as like a failed state, really, by so much of the world as like a broken place, right? But
Yeah, but it's not.
yeah,
I mean, it's just
Yeah,
it's a place of resistance and resilience throughout everything, right? From gaining their
from day
independence, the
one.
French
Yeah.
coming back, what, 19 years later, and basically forcing them to pay reparations.
yeah,
And then I've always kind of thought, well, hey, like, first of all, the second I found out all this shit, I messaged Kate and was like, Kate, did you like, I just found out like the Pearl of the Antilles and their production and their sugar and their coffee and everything. And then you learn more about just, it was so much more than being ostracized from the world. And, that I think it was 90 million francs that they had to pay to France, didn't pay off till 1947, maybe. But that could have gone towards infrastructure and
Yeah.
education and these other things. And then, of course, the lack of foreign affairs. It wasn't recognized as a country until the Emancipation Proclamation by the United States, out of a matter of convenience rather than anything else. So and it still endures, and
yeah.
the only ways I've seen it is through like the Anthony Bourdain episode when he went in 2010 or so.
Hmm.
But just seeing the people there and the impact that it continues to make is nothing short of remarkable. And it's really hard to kind of think of another place or an element. I mean, I think historically you could argue the Egyptians, because everybody who conquered the Egyptians got more assimilated into that culture. Um, but there's just such a reverence for everybody that speaks about Haiti that actually knows, right? Not ignorance
Mm.
aside and everything like that. So
Hmm.
that's cool. Um, turning and doing a little bit of a pivot, it'd be fun, Kate. Just, I mean, you mentioned, in the early days of Claren and Caroni. I never say it right. I never say it right.
How do you
Um,
say it, by the way? Is it Caroni?
The Italians say Caroni. The
Uh-huh.
Trinidadians that I've spoken with say Caroni, so I say Caroni.
Is it an Italian word or what's I don't even know where the name came from.
well, it's just the name
Sounds
of the
Italian.
I thought it was the name of the distillery, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, where did
Oh,
that
the
come from?
origin of
Yeah,
the,
yeah, 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 yeah.
oh,
Yeah, I'm not sure. But
huh.
Trinidadians say Caroni, so I say Caroni.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Which, yeah. And
Sorry
so
for that
back to,
interruption. It's one
no,
of
no,
those
you're
things that I've
good.
always wondered.
Well, I mean, we do have this thing, Constantine. It's called
What?
the internet.
No, I'm
What?
against it.
I'm against it. But no, so
No,
I mean,
no pocket computers.
in the early days too, Kate, and so you founded Rumba, and I mean, I can only imagine because I've only really, really, really been into rum since 2020, and even the first year of that was, what's the best rum combination for a Mai Tai or a, trade winds. But I mean, even preceding that, just thinking about the rum landscape, and a lot of the brands are still the same, the big ones anyways. But what was it like in the early days of you go into an account and you're like, oh, this is Caroni and oh, this is Claren, and was the reception pretty mixed? Was it, trying to break people's misconceptions of, well, wait a minute, it's not sweet. What is
Hmm.
this?
Well, I mean, the first is it was New York.
Hmm.
So the cocktail culture in New York was pretty sophisticated. I I don't know, maybe you guys had the same experience that I did and that I got to share with a lot of people. But, I was in New York, Daniele came to train me how to do my job. So Daniele came and lived in New York with me 9 months, and he and I would knock on the doors of Death and Co. Astor Wine and these kind of like legendary places. And I remember like, standing at Death and Co. with an armful of Claret bottles because Tyson was kind enough to take an appointment with me and he ushered me in and he said, okay, so you have rum. And I said, hey, Tyson, yeah, this is Haitian Claret. And I remember pouring some for him and like seeing this. I wish I'd like photographed this. Like we started calling it like Claren face because that just like moment of like inspiration and confusion when you first taste the spirit and you're just like, what is this? And I was really blessed and lucky, but also not really. It was um the heavy lifting was done by the spirit itself, that it was so uh, unique and interesting and delicious that when you pour the claret into someone's glass and they taste it for the first time, people are, whether they like it or not, they're intrigued by it. And I think for a lot of kind of bartenders, and especially maybe New York bartenders, where you start to feel like everything that's out there you're familiar with. Maybe not every brand, but like what rye tastes like, what bourbon tastes like, what gin tastes like, what you think rum tastes like. And then to taste something that's just so outside the box of what you it was just a really cool thing. We then started working with PM Spirits as our New York distributor at the end of that year. And I was super proud to have 200 accounts in New York, which was, really good for
Yeah.
someone who had no experience doing this job. But it's really a testament to the quality and the just inspiration of the spirits itself, pouring them around. And then, Caroni came and that was a totally different story. Now I like look back on it and I laugh a little bit because we had an allocation for the US market that was, I don't know, maybe like 11 or 12, which for the US market isn't a ton. That's like a, a sizable, it's not 600, which I sometimes get like with some bottles, but it's not thousands really. And 1,200 for the New York or for the US market at that time, we were only in New York. So it was 1,200 bottles for New York. So I
Mm.
remember going to like Blacktail and ordering Caroni daiquiris, which is kind of gross. Um, but just because we could, because we had so much of it. We
Yeah.
were just pouring Caroni all over the streets of New York. We had cases and cases and cases of it. Now, if you can find a bottle, you're like super lucky.
Yeah,
Unless like
right.
it's the white whale, it's a unicorn now. But we just had so much of it because we were just in one state. I didn't have the experience or forward to think like, oh, like I should probably like set aside, 3/4 of this for later.
What was the reception? I mean, Caroni can be so polarizing. Did you have to bring people along, or was it kind of a hit to begin with?
It was definitely polarizing, but kind of like Claren, like whether you liked it or didn't like it, you were like you remembered it.
Yeah.
And there wasn't anything like it that had been in the market before. If you were, kind of a seasoned rum geek, then maybe you tried like other releases, European releases, but um, yeah, it was it was cool. And then I remember we did this like big launch event in Dumbo, and my European cohorts all came over. And in the middle of this event, I had known that Luca had come to New York via Jamaica, and he whispered in my ear that we just got the global distribution partnership with Hamden Estate, which was my favorite distillery. And I like got super emotional. I was like, I get to sell Hamden? I still get emotional today. I'm like, ooh, that's
Nice.
But that was really like the cherry on top. Like I thought, Claren and Caroni was as good as it was going to get, and then Hampton came into the mix, and my mind was blown. Super
Which I
happy.
mean, what a portfolio, you know. And Valier has always been established as the front running brand of representing the most respected, sought after. So it's amazing. That's so cool. And I mean, with the pivoting now towards maybe a little bit more evangelism, I'm curious to know um, maybe an uncommon misconception about rum, because obviously the ones you hear is, oh, it's too sweet. It belongs in a tiki drink. Nothing again against tiki, but there's all these things where rum's put into a box. Rum and
Yeah,
Pirates,
so
that the one
many.
that gets me to eye twitch, and I don't know why, because it's not the worst one at all.
Arr.
Oh my God, yeah. But Kate, what about you? Is there like a misconception that really just like, I mean, for to be alliterative grinds your gears?
Hmm. I mean, I think the flip side of that is when people tell me I didn't know rum could taste like this.
Hmm.
Hmm.
That's like my favorite thing because it's something I've poured them goes against all of their misconceptions. And you see that little sparkle of like, wait, what? This is rum? I didn't know rum
Hmm.
could taste like this. And you know that like you've got them a little bit, like
Yeah.
intrigued. They're maybe gonna like start their own journey. So flip side, I love hearing that. I don't know, there's so many. Um, I think for a lot of people and for a lot of like sort of different historic reasons, the kind of 1990s and 2000s perception of rum is, Bacardi, Malibu, Captain Morgan.
Hmm.
Thanks cover over, but that's like what was on the shelves. And
Yeah.
so a lot of people like that's their frame of reference. So really anything else is new and different and interesting. And I love hearing like when people tell me that, in college one night I had like 10 Captain Cokes and I haven't been able to touch rum since. And
Oh.
my response is always like, okay, you just told me that in one night you had 10 Coca-Colas. Like, of course
Yes.
you felt terrible.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
oh good God, what did you put in your system?
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, that's like swearing off Scotch whiskey because you drank too much Fireball. Like these things
Yeah.
are the
Yes.
same.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
the comparison you always make, Brian, on the fireball thing. It is such a silly thing, really. Well,
Well, I mean,
as soon as you can show that to people, I think that they realize maybe how silly it is to say that.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
that it's a insert spirit with, it's a rum flavored liqueur or a whiskey flavored liqueur. And
Totally.
it'd be so
Yeah.
fun to live in if we look at the multiverse, the MCU multiverse. There's a multiverse out there where rum is the thing and everybody thinks that whiskey is, you know, Jack Daniel's honey and Fireball and who knows what else, Buchanan
Yeah.
pineapple or whatever. So,
Well, I like telling people that rum is like the soccer of the world, the spirits
mm,
world. Like the rest of the world drinks rum and gets it and understands it, and
Hmm.
America's like just starting to figure out that it's a cool sport.
yeah, that's really good. I like that.
But like soccer, it never quite breaks through. It's always,
It's
Don't you put
always
that
because
evil out
yeah,
there.
it's
Don't
yeah.
put that.
Unless you're in actually soccer playing countries also tend to
yeah.
drink a lot of rum, so maybe there's a different correlation
Oh
there.
my God, I know. I know. Well, I
So
mean,
when you're out there, oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead, Constantine. It's
Yeah.
the delay.
Oh, that's Kate. We have like this half second delay since I'm like on the other side of the world, and we always end up doing this, but we'll get through it. I was going to ask though on the evangelism side, converting people, right? Like
Evangelical
you
is
find
something else
a
entirely. And
Yeah, let's stay away from that.
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, trying to convert people. You find
Yeah.
somebody in a bar who's like, yeah, I'm really into mezcal or I'm really into bourbon. Like, can you target each one of those people like a whiskey guy? And how do you bring those people across? Do you have entry points you go to?
Yeah, totally. I put a lot of time and thought and effort into figuring that out when I was building the program at Rumba because I mean, Seattle's wasn't a rum drinking city. Now they are.
Hmm.
Um, but we would have people walking all the time, like in groups, and maybe like one person was into rum and brought a bunch of friends, and everyone else is just like, "What the heck is this?" Um, it's a rum bar, but it's also a gathering space and also a bar. And I really wanted to have something available for everyone. So we had like a nice selection of other spirits. Granted, it was like one bottle of it. We had really nice glass pour wines. I really wanted everyone to be able to find something that they were comfortable. And then if they had a glass of wine and kind of like caught the vibe and understood that they were someplace a little bit different, just give them some handholds to sort of like dive in. I didn't, it's a it's a spirit with a lot of roadblocks for entry, I think,
Hmm.
and a lot of different angles to get into. And so my menu sort of read as like, here's a list of all of our rum. So if you're a rum geek and you're in here and you're looking for something, it's all across the back bar with a big library ladder. And then also like here's the written version so you can kind of scan and find the couple of things that you've always wanted to taste. And then on the back, it was like a kind of a rum curious curation of like, if you're a gin drinker, try these three things.
Hmm.
If
Hmm.
you're a bourbon drinker, give this a shot. If you're super into Cabernet, maybe these will tickle your fancy. And it kind of went through the vision of rum in terms of other spirits, because rum can kind of do everything that other spirits can do, from like super grassy to super vanilla to super I don't know, spicy and herbaceous. Like all of the flavors that you find across the spirit world, you can find within the rum category
Hmm.
itself. I also love saying that rum is like sandwiches. Like you can't tell me that you don't like rum. It's like being like, yeah, I'm not into sandwiches. Like, what does that mean? It's too broad of a category to make a blanket statement about. You just haven't found the sandwich that is right for you. Maybe you had too many
Hmm.
PB&Js as a kid and you can't turn down a gooey grilled cheese, a turkey club. Like it's just too broad of a category. So helping people kind of grasp these handholds and discover rum through whatever lens they're coming to the category from was always my favorite thing to do. Um, I see a lot of people like kind of in rum circles and on online forums where it's like someone who's just trying to get into rum and they're like, yeah, you should be drinking this like cast strength, tropically aged DOK. And it's like, dude, you're gonna scare this person.
Yeah, I mean, and then that's like saying,
Gently, guys,
yeah,
gently.
well, okay, cool. Yeah, I've only ever had, I don't know, monkey shoulder, but cool. Have this Ardbeg Kortvekian that's 57% super smoke. Let me see how you
Yes.
feel.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's just like, oh,
yeah,
then they're gonna run away shell shock, going, no more. Instead of like Emperor's New
totally.
Groove, beware of the groove, beware of the rum. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I used to have bartenders who would do it too because they would get like super excited about like funky rums. And I
Hmm.
remember a couple guys, God, I love them, but people would come in and be like, I want to learn about rum. Like, pour me something. They'd be like, cool, you want like a cocktail or you want a pour? And they'd be like, give me a cocktail to start. And they give them just like a straight rum fire cocktail. I'm just like, dude, that person's never coming back, or they'll be
It's
here
supposed to be like
every
an
day.
on
I
ramp,
don't
not a
know.
sledgehammer.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, gentle, gentle. Um, but no, I think that there's just so many different angles that you can get into the category, and there's something for everyone within it. It's really special that way. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
to the choir here, but
Hmm.
No, I agree. And I mean, just a couple more questions, Kate, because again, we don't want to make this an inquisition. And also, as much as I'd
that's
love,
okay.
um, I do have a time check for myself. I've got to jump in like 20-ish minutes because I got to get ready for my bar shift.
Cool.
Um,
We
so,
gotta go teach a yoga class.
oh,
There we
see?
go. I just
Yes.
peppered in another fun fact.
Yay. That's two. I love it. I don't know why I think I'm more excited than anybody else. That's two. We got two. So I mean, we've talked about Velier, Kate, and a lot of the things that I've done it with Rum Curious Club, a lot of people are still just now realizing, wait a minute, I can drink Chairman's Reserve Legacy by itself. I can have Dorley. I can
Mhm.
drink all these. I don't need another cocktail. So some people that are in our club are a little bit early on in their journey and might not know the name Velier. So it would be great for you to briefly kind of explain and tell everybody what makes La Maison and Velier USA unique within the industry and how it's seen by
Mm.
people that have been around for a long time, the gold standard.
Yeah. We might need more than 20 minutes. I can do it. How long you got? I think that to understand Valier is maybe impossible, really, in the world. But first of all, they're an importer and a distributor in Italy. Not the biggest, not the smallest, mid-size, family owned, owned by my boss, Luca Gargano. Um, and it's it's kind of just an interesting perspective, I guess, because as an importer and distributor, they sell lots of different brands. If you go to Velier's website, there's tons and tons of different brands, different portfolios on there. Some, big popular ones all the way down to some kind of more obscure stuff. Really celebrating natural wine. Velier has a natural wine portfolio called Triple A, which was the first 100% natural wine portfolio in the world of the time of its founding, starting with, brands that Luca became really passionate about, and now you can find as like the darlings of the natural wine scene. But
Hmm.
I think for a lot of producers, Luca was kind of the first distributor that gave them a chance and celebrated them because the root of Velier is the raw material and real things made by real people with real hands. Um, it's ancestral practices and it's the preservation of these practices through the celebration of these practices, both the practices and the communities that hold them themselves. Um, it's it's a company of discovery. Um, and the bottles, that are Velier bottlings, they're not an independent bottler, they're a dependent bottler because everything depends directly with the relationship with the people, the producers, the communities themselves. Nothing is taken out of that. Um, and in like the La Maison and Velier book, which is the passion projects of both Velier in Italy and La Maison du Whiskey in France, um, everything is super connected. There's nothing in my portfolio that we like tasted a producer and thought it was good and thought we should import it. That's not what we do. Everything that we do, we have investment or creative investment or a deep relationship with these producers themselves. So everything is just really intimate, which gives us a position that is kind of unique in the world. And also because La Maison du Whiskey and Velier themselves are importers and distributors of lots of different companies, and Italy and France are very important markets, they also just have long-standing relationships with the producers in a different business side. So the access that both companies have to these incredible brands are also out of partnership from being their distributor and their importer for 50, 60 years, which is a long time in the booze world. So the companies kind of don't function like any other company does because it's just a unique relationship where everything is just connected and intimate. And and Luca and Thierry both love to discover new things. So I don't look really at the bottlings as like, a brand or a way to really even make money. Like my company makes no monetary sense, but it doesn't have to because they're the brainchild of two big importer and distributors. Le Maison and Velier is the passion projects, and I look at them as love letters
Yeah.
to the countries, to the producers, and to the rum community, as things that we're excited about. We don't do it because we think it's gonna make money. We do it because we're excited to share it. So I said before that I wanted to be Indiana Jones, and I really feel like Velier is that company and rum, getting to work and learn about places like Cabo Verde, getting to visit Haiti, spending time in Jamaica. Rum comes from all over the world, and it's just really exciting to discover new things where everything kind of feels like it's been discovered in the world, to try something totally new
Yeah.
from a faraway place and then learn about how they produce it and um, the culture behind their production and how they've done something for 5, 6 generations is just really special. So I don't know that like Velier as a rum company is really the right way to look at it. It's more Velier as a talent agent almost, or a,
Sure.
a form of discovery that just wants to story tell and share liquid and you know have enjoy delicious things with fun people.
You mentioned a couple of times like about the relationships and how it's a lot of intimate relationships with the producers.
Yeah.
Can you just pick maybe one or two really interesting ones and tell us what that means like in practice and how that relationship works?
Yeah. Um, so I mean in 2011, Luca and Daniele went to Haiti for the first time to go taste Claren and just didn't know what to expect and fell in love with the spirit of Haiti. Um, and understood that this was something so special and so unusual and rare, and wanted to share it with the world. I remember they told me that the first exported Clarin Casimir was a drum that they put on the back of a Jeep and four-wheel drived over mountains to Port-au-Prince, stuck it on a boat, and it arrived in Italy. And they had this party because they were so excited for other people to taste the Bon Clarin. And met the Linge family who'd been working in rum for generations, and created a company called The Spirit of Haiti, aptly named, that worked in partnership with now 5 producers to share the local spirit of Haiti with the world. So it's sort of this like, Velier's like official, unofficial bottlings, where, the bottling of Clarence Sajus is Michel Sajus. These spirits had never been bottled and exported in this way, labeled, and, they didn't sell it in Haiti. If you wanted to drink Clarence Sajus, you would take a plastic jug, you'd go to Distillery Sajus, we call it cello, and you would fill up your jug at Distillery Cello, and you'd go home and you drink your Bon Clahan. So really like creating a route to the global market in partnership with the producers. They don't have bottling lines, so working with the Linge family to collect the liquid from the small villages, bring it to Port-au-Prince, where it's bottled and labeled and then shipped out of. Like, this is crazy. Maybe it seems normal now, but like this is a crazy idea that slowly and surely and drop by drop, as Valier loves to say, all of the path was worked out, and now the spirit of Haiti exists. But like if you look at these bottles on the shelves and understand like the villages that they come from and how much work and care and love goes into getting them from the distillery to Port-au-Prince to now around the world, it's really incredible. But the the passion and the drive and the love of the liquid to just want to share it, I think is probably the best example. Um, I think also like looking at something like Habitation Velier, where, we were talking about before how people just sort of view like rum as one lump sum, too sweet,
Hmm.
too strong, spiced, have to
Hmm.
choke it down with Coca-Cola. Velier wanted to create differentiation in the market. I would credit Velier with leading some people to understand that there's a difference between pot still rum and column still rum, something that's totally normal for us to talk about now, but was a revelation many years ago when these bottles came out and people understanding, oh, the production style does make a difference. It's in the final taste. And so
Yeah.
Habitat and Velier come about, not to say one is better than the other, but just to say this is special and different.
Yeah.
And this is a manual process. Pot still distillation has a start and a begin and an end, and it's an 8-hour process, and it's somebody working the still to create this like very character-driven experience in your glass, which is just a very different process than a multi-column rum or a traditional rum. Not that it's better or worse, but just that it's different. And
Yeah.
so Velier is a very like didactic educational company as well, just trying to create some differentiation in the world of rum. They created the collector's market for the world of rum in a lot of ways, and so really like I don't know, just sort of offering different perspectives and people can like it or not, it doesn't really matter, but they understand that there's differences in perspectives and they
Yeah.
understand that these things have value. I think maybe my most common misconception that really, would you say, grinds my gears, gets my goats,
Yep.
is that people think rum should be cheap.
Oh
It's
my
like,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
no, this is
I
like a
know.
hard work of incredible people. Like, you
Yeah.
pay what for bourbon? Like,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
this is, I don't know, this is Jamaican excellence. It should be expensive. This
Well,
is,
that's what gets me when I posted a video about the 1753 Constantine, and there was somebody, I don't think they were trolling per se, but this one person took exception to the price of the Hampton 1753 for a 3-year-old rum, and it's anyways, we can just leave that there. And I'm sure if you ask that, no shade on that person, but that it's that idea of, well, all I need is the Hamilton Black for, my Jungle Bird, right? And it's like, well, again, I get that there's different markets and things, but
Hmm.
that's why, when I go to my bar shift, I'm probably gonna bring in. There's a few things I won't bring in. I won't bring in the very old uh Royal or the Velier. I won't bring that in. I won't bring that in because people don't necessarily appreciate it, but I'll bring in some fun stuff. But I do bring in like the Habitation Velier, or I'll bring in a Renaissance, or I'll bring in a insert whatever here. And I typically reserve those for people who I'm not trying to say like I think they'd appreciate it, but you know, I constantly am tasting people in Santa Teresa at 1796, and I watch them, at least maybe a good third of them go, oh, it's really intense. And then it's a good way for me to remember, like, oh, okay, so like it's the broad spectrum, like you had said, Kate, the bartender that was just gonna throw out the, DOK single mark had, you know,
Try
yeah.
this.
that was the weirdest thing I've had ever was in Singapore, the Rum Deluxe. There was a 10-year, I think it was a White Tiger Hampton DOK at 85.2%. And I'm glad I tried it, but I'm also like, why is this a thing? Why is this a thing by
I think
Hmm.
that
itself?
like there's a natural curve to it too, as you're like getting into something and then you kind of start, finding your rhythm and then you start
Hmm.
exploring new things and then you want like the biggest, the hottest, the most intense. And then you
Hmm.
kind of
The
realize that like
pendulum comes
actually,
back. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
it's a
I think we all
pendulum.
went through that. Yeah.
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
High
and
esters, high esters.
I can
What's the
remember
ester
the time
count?
where it was like I put the glasses down in my snob voice, being, well, unless it's cask strength or straight off the still, I don't want it. And then I started trying a bunch of Samaroli stuff that was like 90 proof. And I was like, oh. It doesn't have to be 58 plus percent
Yeah.
unless it's worth my
Yeah.
time.
Actually, your
Um,
mouth can't perceive things at that hot. Like
Yeah.
you
yeah,
should water them down or drink them at a lower proof. Like there's
100%.
more volatile flavor that you can perceive.
I will say
Yeah.
that I'm so grateful that I can at least handle drinking super high proof now because it's allowed me to enjoy spicy food, whereas before
Mm.
I wasn't able to. And the only thing I can think of is again, I'm not a chemist. I'm not a smart person in regards to science and chemical reactions, but I can only think that it's probably due to the burn that you get in your mouth with that high proof is similar to the burn that you get in your mouth from a spicy component or what have you.
Or maybe you drinking the high proof stuff has just burned out your spice receptor.
That's also
That's
very
probably
true.
it.
That's
It
very
just doesn't
true.
work anymore.
We got theories. We got
We
theories.
yeah, we got it. So, we have time for I think for maybe one or two more. I'll push because if I'll show up, maybe casually late. And casually late, I'm kidding. I'm
Silence
kidding.
it.
But I wonder, Kate. I mean, for me, as if I had just one more question. You've seen that the evolution of rum. Velier is it's undisputed that the brands that you work with are all top tier. Is there like another brand not within the portfolio, maybe not brought into the states that if you could just be like, yes, I want this one. For me right now, I think it's wild that Savannah is not imported into the US at all. I've only gotten a few of their things and I have fallen
Mm.
in love with Réunion. And you've obviously been around and you are very well knowledgeable. You've had, I'm sure, a lot of cool things from all over the world. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a one single distillery, but maybe like a country or something like that that has really stood out to you.
Hmm. I mean, if there was like one distillery that I could represent that I don't, like my like little jealousy nudge. I am such a fangirl of Rumneysan from Martinique.
Oh yeah.
Mm,
Love them.
yes.
Um, I think Gregory just does such an amazing job. It's the only Martinique-owned distillery on the island. The care of sugarcane varietals and the geekiness, and for
Sure.
me, like that's like the Rolls Royce of rum agricole, and I'm such an agricole girl. Like that's my top tier. For sort of like new frontier, I'm super kind of intrigued by I don't know, I think like a lot of rum geeks, like I want to try the thing from the place that I've never tried the thing from. I
Yeah.
think that there's a lot of cool stuff happening in Africa right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm really excited. Spoiler alert, we're getting a rum from Ghana coming with a new flag
Ooh.
series
Oh,
this
cool.
year, which I'm
Nice.
really excited about. And we'll also have a new flag series from Vietnam. And I think like Southeast
Oh,
Asia and Africa are
great.
kind of two, I mean, big regions, large
Yeah.
places in the world. But
Yeah,
I just think that
absolutely.
there's a lot of cool stuff kind of happening over in those regions. I'm really excited to discover what's what's going on over there, who's producing it, why,
Yeah. How the
how.
I had something, I don't know. We had Maggie and the American Cane folks on 2 months ago. And I
Hmm.
was gushing about this rum Kakira, which I bought it from Whiskey Exchange. I didn't realize it was already in the US. But I mean,
Hmm.
it's just one of those things. I had from an IB, I'm not allowed to say right now. But it was from, oh God, it starts with an L, Liberia. It was an
Cool.
unaged cane juice from Liberia, and it was holy heck, Batman. And then, of course, like we've had the guys from Sampan on. I haven't tried the
Yeah.
other. There's another distillery in Vietnam, Bellamy, I think it is. I can't remember.
Maybe.
But yeah, I think that those are both super awesome places. I still think that there's things in Nigeria and Kenya that we just don't know about, can't get unless you go there.
Totally.
And
Yeah, I
I'm,
mean, people make rum everywhere. Again, it's like the soccer, it's the
yeah,
world spirit, like the world sport, and anywhere that is growing sugarcane, which is
yeah,
a huge portion of the world, probably juices it and distills it,
yeah,
You
Yeah.
just gotta
yeah.
squeeze it, naturally ferment it, and toss it in a pot still, and you've got rum. So I think that, rum as a local spirit, rum as like a wild spirit is really like um where my interest is. And,
Sure.
I work for Velier, so that also makes sense.
No, that makes sense. And I think, well, Constantine, I'll let you ask one last question and then see if I have time for one more.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get your shift. Um, yeah,
Why did you say that?
a
You
little bit
like
about
doubled down on
Bryan.
the, sorry, Constantine, real quick. You just doubled down on the good old boy like 10 times, 10 more, tenfold more than I've ever expected. Gotta get to your shift. It was like the most
The
southern I think
Alabama
I've
still comes out, you know. It's
Fu-
still dead deep in there somewhere.
All right, sorry, I interrupted your
I mean,
conversation.
so you blew out your palate, Brian, and you can't, and spicy food doesn't bother you. And I started thinking about rum and food pairings. I don't really do this a lot. I don't know if you do it, Rum Curious, if you talk about this, but I have seen where people talk about rum and it was in Singapore was doing something like this, a rum and food pairing. I think the cartel did it. Kate, do
Mm.
you do this with people where you like, oh, well, let's do a tasting. We'll have some food pairings with rum. Uh, you do anything like that, or how do you take
Hmm.
people down that road?
I mean, I think that spirit and food pairings are a little bit weird kind of to begin
Yeah,
with. Like wine makes sense because it's like the acid in the wine that
right,
enhances
right.
food. So I think you kind of have to be careful. Although I did just do a really fun rum and chocolate pairing in Chicago a
I
couple
had some of
Mm,
that
ago.
chocolate. That was
Um,
delicious.
it
Thank you
was
again for sharing,
that
so
makes more
Kate.
fun.
sense than
Yeah.
food, right? More with sweets.
Yeah, and like the spirit with just like also the richness of chocolate. We worked
Hmm.
with this
Hmm.
really incredible chocolatier based out of Wisconsin. His company is called Hey Tiger, and he just is so thoughtful in his
Hmm.
pairings. He tasted the spirits and just made like a chocolate that would accompany the experience. And you really sort of got that like uh 1 + 1 = 3 experience that wine can give you too, where it's the
Yeah.
symphony of the sum of its parts. Um, I remember when I was living in New York, there's this bar that I love dearly called Grand Army, and they would serve a lot of oysters, and we would put like drops of Claret on oysters, especially Claret and Vival. It's like so salty and briny. That was a really fun
Hmm.
experience. Like a little bit of mignonette with some Claret in it is lovely on some stirs. I think rather than like a pairing, I'm also just a big fan of like just have your rum in your kitchen. Like if you're making
Hmm. Hmm.
curries or stews, just splash some rum in there. If you're baking, like toss some Hampton in there. I think rum as like an accentuation when you're cooking is sort of is the way that I would go rather than pairing. I have an event coming up
That's good.
in a couple of weeks, and I contacted my favorite cake shop, and I asked if I
Yeah.
could have a custom Hampton Estate chocolate cake. And
Oh,
I'm really
nice.
excited because
That
I want to
Ooh.
sounds
eat that.
amazing,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Yes. Or
Uh,
bananas Foster.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I want my rum like in my food, cooked in it, dashed on
I don't
top.
do that enough. That's actually really good. That's something I
Yeah.
don't think about, right?
Yeah, I
Same.
think a lot of people don't, but like rather than pairing, like cook with it. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, especially like it's barbecue season, like dash some Hampton in your barbecue
Ooh.
or some Le
Yeah.
Rocher.
Mm. Oh man, now I gotta go eat. And I'm hungry. I'll probably bring a bottle of Hampton with me to work and like dash it on my food when I get there. Dashing some Hampton. Okay, no, sorry. Sorry, no,
No.
no. It's great. I
Um,
mean, I did the Christmas in July thing for like a hot second. Well,
can
dang, I
I
mean,
ask
Kate,
can I ask
yeah,
you guys a question?
yes. Oh, no one ever
I
Oh.
asks
want
us
Oh,
I want
questions.
to ask
whoa.
you guys,
What the heck?
because I like live in my own little microcosm of the world, this little office that I'm in mostly. And I think that sometimes like in this in all of our lives we just sort of like get into our own little bubble, and sometimes it's hard to look out. But um are there kind of things that you guys have noticed? Two parts. One, like what have you noticed in maybe the last 5 years that has kind of surprised you in the world of rum and where it's going and where it's grown? And then what are you excited about in the sort of trends that are happening, or what would excite you in the next 5 years?
Constantine, you should go and you should absolutely bring up the distillery in Fiji that you're
Yeah, tell me everything.
doing.
So, well, I think you should answer the first one on the trends because you've just had the Rum Curious Summit. You're there in LA. I mean, to be honest, Fiji is sort of a rum desert, despite the fact that I'm looking at massive sugarcane fields out my
How long
window.
have you been in Fiji?
I've been here 8 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's we have our producer, the South Pacific Distillery is the big one.
Yeah.
There's a smaller one, a new smaller one, which mainly does gin, but they also do one rum.
Okay.
And then
The
we have our
molasses?
distillery that's coming up. Yeah, so both molasses. There's no cane juice from here yet. That's what we're
Not
doing.
yet.
Cool.
Not yet. Well, there's
Yay.
some. There's like a tiny bottle you can way over there that we have, and I've got some. I got a couple tanks
And
full,
Constantine didn't
but
bring me any samples when I saw him a couple
I
weeks
go all the
ago.
way to
I see how it
LA,
is.
and
Hang
I'm
on. I
just
feel like
like,
are you opening a rum distillery in Fiji,
yes,
making fresh cane juice rum?
we are. Yes.
Amazing. Oh, that's
Yeah,
so cool.
yes. Kulawai Distillery is the name. I think that's the first time I've said the name publicly.
Lulawai?
Kulawai,
Oh,
Can you
yeah.
spell that?
So Kulawai.
Neat.
Kulawai. It's a name of a bird actually that's hasn't been cited officially since 2001. One biologist thinks he saw one about 5 or 6 years ago. He thinks he saw a pair of them. But yeah, so that's the project we're doing. It's funny, I
Well,
actually
that's super
talked to Luca
exciting.
about this back in Whiskey Live in Singapore, gosh, 2 years ago now, I think. And we were there and talked to him about the project and the I heard about Nomad and I was thinking, Luca, if you want to bring Nomad out, that would be a great idea. I should just send him an email about that recently.
Yeah. Cool.
Because I heard he had a lot of regulatory problems with the Nomad project and getting access and bringing us a mobile distillery in. I've talked with our customs folks here. I think we could make it work
Cool.
here. Maybe we look at doing that next year with the second episode of the Fiji Rum and Tiki Festival as
mm,
maybe sort of a launch.
hmm.
But
I
yeah,
want
so
an
that's what
invite
we've
to
got
that
going on
festival,
here.
please.
What's that?
I would love an invite to that festival. I've never been to
Absolutely. Yes.
one.
So, but all the rums you see,
You.
the independent bottler rums are all from South Pacific Distillery, which is
Yeah.
just about 30 minutes from here.
Yeah, that's the only
Um,
thing I've tasted.
yeah, and they don't sell anymore to shear, for example.
Hmm.
They only sell very limited amounts on a case by case basis. Like you basically have to come here and show up and
Yeah.
talk to them and explain the project, and then they'll decide whether they'll sell to you or not.
Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean they do great stuff. It's an old distillery, but yeah, for us, the cane juice rum, we're going to do both molasses and cane juice.
Cool.
I think it'd be hard to financially to do just the one. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, come on out. I would love to have you out for
I would
when we
love to
give.
be
I'll
there.
send you an invite, right? As soon as we get
Yeah.
off here, I'll send you an invite.
Great.
I
If
don't know
you
if that
could.
answered the question at all, but
You went in a different direction. I like it.
Yeah, put my
yeah,
bosses in copy and like give me a very specific reason that you absolutely need me to come and it can't be anyone else.
Well, somebody with
yeah,
anthropology and geographical
Uh,
training who
yes,
has
Kate, we
helped
require you to be in Fiji, please.
yeah.
I have always wanted to visit Fiji. I
due
just,
to the success of you nearly single-handedly selling Hampton, Caroni, and Claren into the United States, we feel that you are the only person capable of representing this particular brand and brand new
There you
distillery
go.
in the best of lights. Henceforth, verily, on this day, Anno Domini, what year is it? 2025. So there we go. Oh wait, hang on. I have a bar spoon here, and this is gonna be my gavel. Decreed. On to the next.
Great. Okay. It's been decided.
It's been decided. I like it. Um,
Next question.
yeah, next question, please.
Wow, this is fun. So
What was that?
she's turned it around on us out of
I
nowhere.
know. Okay, so the question then I'll do my damnedest to answer. So it was current trends that I'm seeing and what I'm excited for the future. Was that it, Kate? The
Yeah.
question? Okay. I would say the current trends, I'm exceptionally proud of the summit. Um, I kind of now know what it feels like to be Great Gatsby minus the mob and the money, throwing a big party and not enjoying it at all. In fact, like just praying to God, I hope this is over sooner than later. Naturally, we're going to do more of these. But no, it was really cool. And I'm really proud that the people who showed up to that are actually spent time at each of the vendor booths and wanting to
Mhm.
understand production, which is the groundwork that you and the Velier team have laid of how is it produced, where is it from, why is this important, what am I tasting, and all those sorts of things. The trends that I see now, I'm very much enjoying seeing a lot of people become much more concerned with transparency, and also realizing that, hey, in some cases a little bit added sugar isn't the death of it. I think I'll die on the hill of let's just be transparent, let's know what we're drinking, right? 100%.
Mhm.
um and then getting people to realize that, oh, it's a $80 bottle, $90 bottle of Hampton. Wow, that's a steal, or it's a
Yeah.
wow, it's $250 for this single barrel of Renaissance. Hell yeah, I need this. So I think that the trends that I'm seeing, and maybe wishful thinking, that people are realizing that rum has always been a sipping spirit and that people are now willing to invest. Um,
Mhm.
and that was really when I went to Singapore. I went from the camp of, wow, $90 for this four square ECS. It's kind of a lot of money. And now, like, whenever I look and search and hunt for bottles, a lot of the things are not available in the US. So I have to find them on Excellence, or where Excellence, just the Euro shipping is brutal. But I start with the price descending now, and I start like just scrolling down. And that's not to
Yeah.
say that a more expensive bottle is,
I
always going to be
remember when I
better.
made that change and I started
Yeah.
sorting by highest price. I feel like that's when like you get your certifiable geek pin.
Oh my God. Yeah. So I think it's that though, right? And I'm hoping at least the point of the Rum Curious Club is to be able to enjoy your, the ultimate sipping rums that, additive free single barrel and the highest regulations of excellence and standards. And then all of a sudden, being okay to go to, a bar and have, a daiquiri, or if you wanted to have the tiki drink and kind of everything else in between. Um, but yeah, I don't know if that answered the question either, but I'm seeing a lot more interest and curiosity in the spirit, and I feel having the warm and welcome over the well actually energy is getting
Hmm.
people much more interested
Hmm.
in everything. So yeah,
Totally, because rum should be fun.
it is. It's supposed to be fun.
Yep.
If it's I don't know, I don't like the well actually and energy. It should be
Yeah,
come along.
it's
I'm probably a broken record now, but rum is always best when shared with friends. And
Yep.
exactly.
you need friends,
Yeah.
That's
The
it.
the last thing I
especially
would say, just with like the transparency thing, I kind of think that the more you refine your palate, the more that you understand kind of where you want to spend your time. And I am squarely in the camp of, I remember drinking Diplomatico Reserva Exclusiva for the first time, going, oh my God, this is great. And then, you start trying more things, and you expand your palate. And then inevitably, I'm very much in the thought of, once you've expanded your palate, you tend to just inherently reach for less sweet options.
Mhm.
Like I have that same bottle from 5 years ago. This is ADHD hyperfixation. I didn't go into a bar because I couldn't. So I just like, oh, I'm going to buy everything. And that's how you end up with this insane
Yeah.
collection. But a lot
But
of
I think that
things,
that's true outside the rum world too. Like if you
yeah,
get really into chocolate, maybe you start with like
white chocolate.
Reese's or a Snickers
Oh
bar,
my,
and then
yeah,
all of a sudden you're
100%.
looking
Yeah.
for like 100%
Cacao. Yeah.
Kenyan, single origin, you know, $25 chocolate bar. But you
Yep.
know that it
Hmm.
comes from this one specific farm at this one specific
And this
latitude.
is how they
Love
do
it.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
or like getting into coffee or start drinking like lattes and vanilla cappuccinos or whatever, and then you're
Yeah.
looking at unwashed Ethiopian
Yeah.
coffee if you're
Brewed at
me. Uh,
176 degrees exactly.
yeah,
Yes, exactly.
exactly. Or
Pour overs
wine
only.
too. I think a lot of people
Yeah,
getting into wine like are drinking like, Chardonnay and Beaujolais and Cabernet, and then you get into something and then you start to discover and your palate adjusts, and it's the same with
exactly.
rum.
Yep.
Of
Yep.
course you start with the sweet stuff because that's what's accessible, and you start with the
Yeah.
sweet stuff across any category. Then the more
Hmm.
you experience, the more the the weirder and weirder and weirder you get.
Oh my God. I
You're,
remember the
drinking pours of Clairhan, and here we are.
the first two things that I was like, why the fuck would anybody drink this? I was at a bar and I decided to order one of the Hamilton Pot Still St. Lucia's. I think it's maybe the 7 year. And this was
Dang, that
like
stuff is good.
early on. And I tried it and was like, what the fuck is this? Ugh. Because my palate wasn't ready for it, you know? And at
Yeah.
that point, I hadn't really had anything single barrel high proof. The second
Yeah.
time I had that experience was when I tried I tried one of the Grand Aromes from Holmes Key because again, I was still relatively early, never didn't understand the production methods, had no idea what a Grand Arome
Hmm.
was, and tried it and was like, well, that's something. You know, but now like I go and now, you know, I've since revisited that and I've actually added a couple Grand Aromes to the collection because again, you find out how they produce it. And I don't
Yeah.
understand all the specifics, but again, like it's just, you know, realizing, oh, it's molasses. It wasn't cane juice. And like this, the more that you get sucked into this category and realize things that even you yourself held as like gospel, like for the longest time I would espouse, oh yeah, it's just it's high ester with cane juice. That's what I don't know what that's my past voice. But yeah, that's what that is. And then realizing, oh no, that's incorrect. So, you know, fortunately, there's a lot of cool people out there that know a lot more than I do, that always kind of just send gentle nudges privately saying, hey, just so you know, the Batavia Arak wasn't the grandparent of all tiki drinks. Thank you, Richard Seal, for that. I was like, oh, okay, sorry, I'm gonna mark that one back. Or the gunpowder test also, which makes sense that we weren't lighting ships ablaze with flammable and explosive material.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, a lot of wood, fire,
oh
rum,
yeah,
the best
Hmm.
yeah.
combination. Yeah.
But no, it's an exciting time. And Kate, like just one, I feel like we could talk for 4 or 5 more hours. So I would just
Yeah.
appreciate your time. We'll definitely have to have you back on because I feel like we barely even just scratched the
I know
surface
we
of
should do it
all of
again.
this.
Before we end though, I also want to know what your desert island drinks are.
Ooh,
What's your
cocktail
cocktail?
or
Yeah,
rum?
one of each. Give me your cocktail and give
Ooh,
me your rum.
I would say daiquiri, because there's a million ways that you can shake that bad boy and things you can
Versatile
add.
choice.
Oh my
Okay.
God. And also now, like being at a tiki bar, I've fallen in love with Amari, which just because the people who run that bar aren't traditionally tiki people, so trying like Maletti or Kate, you and I talked about Ramazzotti and throwing a little bit of
Hmm.
Amaro into that daiquiri. Oh my.
Yeah.
If I had one desert island rum, I'm gonna give a different answer than the last time I did it with Maggie. I think for me it would be the Velier Royal Navy
Mm.
rum. I love just the
Mm.
overall complexity of it, the lingering on the palate, just how I mean everything and the branding and the logo and everything. That is easily one of my favorite bottles of all time. And it's one of those that I had to get off of fucking rum auctioneer and I was like, oh, I got it for a steal for 110 euro, rock and roll. And then all of a sudden before you know the fees and the auction thing, and I was
The
like, oh
shipping.
cool, this is like $600. Like,
Yeah.
well,
Surprise.
yeah, I know, surprise.
It's fine. It's
But
totally fine. No worries. That's
yeah,
great.
those would be me. Dax and then the Royal Navy rum from Velier.
Cool.
Constantine.
I'm going to go with the same one I had last time because it's just for years I've had the same answer to this. It's the Nason BO 52.5,
Yeah.
which, oh, that's
She's
just the pinnacle.
gorgeous.
I don't know
Yeah,
how
she
you
just
get
brought
better
it.
than that, you
Yeah.
know? So that, and then, I mean, a daiquiri with that is absolutely, that's all you need in life, desert island or not. That's
Mm.
it. I mean,
Mhm.
if they rewrote Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, that would be the new answer to the question.
Totally.
Fair.
52.5.
52.5.
I love that stuff. I was looking up, I think it's on the other shelf, but yeah. Oh, I love it.
My cocktail would be tea punch for sure.
So good.
That's great.
And my rum would just be Hamden.
Just all
Any
Hamden. I mean,
Hamden,
Just
that would be
Hamden.
all of
Yeah,
it,
just
yeah.
all of it.
it's just
I didn't
Hamden.
realize that was
Yeah.
an option because then I would have
Yeah.
just been
Well,
like,
I'm making the rules, guys.
But you're asking the questions and then making the rules after.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
but
That's the
see,
way the
when
world
you
works.
have the power of the questions, you know, it's the power of the question, the
Yeah.
questionnaire, no, the questioner, the questioner.
Yeah.
So Kate can do what she wants.
Exactly.
Question
Yeah.
questionnaire.
Is this what it feels
Don't
like to be a man?
don't don't question when in rum. I've decreed it. No,
Actually, let me
Kate's decreed
explain
it.
that to you, Kate.
Oh God. Oh
What's
my
a
God.
what's a mansplainer's favorite drinking vessel?
I
I don't
don't
know.
know. What is it?
A mansplainer loves to drink from a well, actually. So
Oh.
bad. So
Ooh,
bad.
Well,
that's good.
actually,
Well, oh
Well,
God, yeah. I mean,
actually.
and we can all, and there's just the when you see, some people are associated with the well actually, or when you start reading the comment and you're just getting the way I
Yeah.
see it is that the glass is slowly coming down. It's
hmm
and the deep inhale, and then it's, well, the thing is, and you're like,
actually.
I know. Well, there's a really
Oh.
good meme, or there's a GIF that I've dropped out there in the Facebook world once or twice, where it's like this the ultimate internet troll nerd, and it's just like his teeth are like up here, and it's all broken teeth, and it's well, actually, it's just my favorite thing to just drop
That's
back.
like the dude with the greased back hair.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It was like the South Park character when they did the World of Warcraft episode, which, by the way, I know wrapping up, if you have not seen the latest South Park episode, wow,
I haven't yet.
it's
I've seen the bits of it. I've got to see the whole thing.
oh yeah, you definitely see bits
The
in that
bits of it.
episode. The bits of it. Exactly.
Oh,
Okay,
goodness.
so Kate, oh God, is Kate gone?
She's gone.
She's part of the rapture. She's been whooshed off.
My I heard my dog barking out there.
Oh,
Oh,
A
no.
dog. Hey, look at that.
yeah,
Hey,
dogs on dogs.
Yeah,
Um,
dogs
dogs.
and dogs.
well, Kate, wrapping up, where can people get a hold of you? Again, a lot of people know you, but everybody, if you don't follow Kate on all the things, you should absolutely do that. So where can people follow you? Where can they get in touch and contact, etc.?
Yeah, the best way is on Instagram. My Instagram handle is when in rum, RHUM rum. Which is a harken back to my early rumba days where people would walk into the bar and see a wall of booze and assume it was whiskey, and then sort of be like, wait a minute,
I don't
is this
know
all
any of
rum?
these
I'd
brands.
be like, yeah. And they'd be like, where do I start? And I'd be like, well, when in rum, let's have some
That's
rum.
good. I like that.
Um, And on that, if you look at the like LinkedIn bio, there's like a email me, there's a ask for it. If you're looking for bottles, that's the place
Mhm.
to go. I have a website, lmvusa.com, that I just tried to answer all of the questions that I get asked, so I can just send a link. Here you go. You can
Nice.
click on your state or your region and email my lovely distribution partners to ask them because they know better than I. My email's on there. All this stuff is
Yeah.
there. That's probably the most cohesive.
Okay. And for
Yeah.
everybody listening, just Kate absolutely loves when you ask if she can uncover the location of a bottle that's been off the market for like 7 years, or if she
That's
can
like my
arrange
favorite.
random
Reasonable.
travel agents like processing
Every day.
bottles.
Yeah, I
But
do
no,
feel
seriously,
like
don't do that.
half my job is a travel agent for Hamden Estate, and it makes me so happy because I love that people are going to Hamden Estate because it's like such a life-changing experience. But it's pretty funny. Yep, no problem. Hey, Hamden tour
Oh my God.
office.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine it's no different because I'm starting to get that as being a bartender of, oh, hey, it's a Friday night. I have 6 friends. Can you just get us in? Like,
Yeah,
no, I
yeah.
can't. And it's obviously in a much more logistical, and grander scale with you, Kate. But yeah, do not message Kate. I'm just gonna say it. Don't message Kate asking for bottles that are long gone. If they're gone, they're gone. That's how three-tier works. There's no magic. There's a site that you can go to called Rum Auctioneer, or rumtrades.com, or maybe Whiskey Exchange has some craziest allotment maybe that they got. But anyways, thank you all so much for tuning in. Make sure to follow Kate at When in Rum. If you're not following Hampton or La Maison and Velier on the socials, please do buy all of their stuff because you will not be disappointed. Send us your questions. We don't have a guest lined up yet, Constantine, for next month, but we will shortly. So, Kate, thank you again.
Yep.
Constantine, you're the best. And thank you all, guys.
Thank
This was
you.
really
It's been
fun, guys.
great.
Thank you so much for having me. And
Yeah.
I can't
Thanks for
wait to
joining.
see you in
Thanks.
Fiji.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Love it. See you guys.
All
All right.
right.
Thank
Bye.
you.